This is the plaintiff, Joe Cocamero. He says he rented a large party tent to the defendants, who decided to go forward with a party they were having despite hurricane warnings. They banked on their guests showing up despite the pending storm, but were forced to cancel at the very last minute when it became evident no one was coming. He spent time and man-hours setting the tent up and feels it's very unfair of the defendants not to pay him the $2,262.47 they owe him, so he's suing. These are the defendants, Daniel Riggio and Matthew Pasica. Danielle says the plaintiff's the most unaccommodating person she's ever had the pleasure of working with. The guy offered them no solutions to their hurricane dilemma is a very hot-headed man who loses his temper at the drop of a hat, and they don't want to do business with him ever again when they reschedule their party. They're accused of blaming it on the rain.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Above all, tent rentals. Cute. And Joe Cocamero. You are suing Danielle Riggio?
Mm-hmm, perfect.
Okay, and Matthew Pasica. Okay. For $2,262.47 that you say they owe you total cost for setup of the event, and they canceled checks on you because the hurricane hit. Tell me what happened.
We had planned, or they had planned a party, which we had met on July 30th to go over planning and everything.
And what kind of party was this?
It was a 10-year anniversary party.
Oh, how nice. And you had how many person party planned?
I believe it was about 90 people when
And it was for the Saturday?
For the Saturday, yes.
Okay, which would be the 27th?
Correct.
Right? And you were going to have, what, DJ, caterer, the whole?
Correct.
Okay. And what were you going to provide that day?
Labor and, you know.
What were they getting for that money?
Oh, they were getting the tent, tables, chairs, dance floor, lighting, chafing dishes, which was all supplied.
Okay.
Okay, it was all brought there that day, but a couple of days prior to setting up the tent, I had called all my customers for that weekend.
Okay.
Telling them that the hurricane's coming. If you'd like to reschedule, there'd be no penalty to you, and we'd be more than happy to set up another date.
Do you have written contracts with your customers?
Yes.
Can I see the contracts between the two of you? Now, normally you have a 72-hour cancellation policy.
Correct.
Despite what you say is your 72-hour cancellation policy, you were calling your customers and saying, anybody want to cancel, anybody want to cancel. And
Correct.
Did you call them?
Absolutely.
And who did you talk to?
Danielle and Matt.
Both of them?
Correct.
On the telephone?
On the telephone.
Okay, and what was the verdict?
They wanted to go on with the party.
Okay, now this was on what day are they discussing this?
This was on Wednesday. I was originally supposed to set it up on Thursday, the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
We delayed and waited until the 26th just in case they changed their mind.
Okay.
Okay. You know, and then I believe it was her sister-in-law who brought it to her attention, saying maybe we should just have it Friday night. Everyone can make it then. Okay. And, you know, she didn't want to have it that night. She wanted to have it Saturday.
Okay.
And what happened was mass transit was canceled. I know she explained to me a lot of her family was in Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, and they couldn't get mass transit out to even make it to the party.
Okay.
Okay,
So what day does you set everything up on Friday, and she calls you and tells you the party's canceled when?
On Saturday at like 2, 3 o'clock.
Okay,
so
because mass transit had been canceled when?
Mass transit, I believe, we had found out it was canceled Friday night, but he was also taking down the tent prior to that on Saturday, so I called Friday night to cancel the party.
Yeah, but he was already set up, right?
Correct.
Okay,
but we
so he did everything he was supposed to do, and you guys were sort of hedging your bets and hoping the party would happen.
Not everything was set up at that point because he was going to come back later on in the evening, but we had canceled the prior party to that.
What was
so he
set up?
The lighting.
That's it?
I think maybe it was it one of the buffet tables or it was something along those lines.
So how many tables did you have set up?
I think at that point we maybe had 10 to 15 tables set up.
And with how many chairs at each table?
There were 8 to 10.
And a dance floor that was how big?
I have it in here. Can I look at
How
it?
big?
20 by 20.
And a tent that was how big?
30 by 60, I think we did.
And anything else?
Just the bar.
Chafing dishes?
Right.
Plates and all that, or that's the caterer?
No, I didn't do any of that.
And so everything except for the lighting was there?
I don't remember the chafing dishes being there in all
Okay,
honesty.
seriously, honey, come on. Hey, the guy's calling you on Wednesday. We all know a storm is coming down. You all think it's going to hit us in South Florida. Right? It's happened a few times this year where we've sort of had the last laugh on you, and then it ends up coming up here just while I'm back in Florida. It's worked out perfect. It's very suspicious. Now, you're having a conversation with him Wednesday, and the verdict is, what's a little rain and wind? Now it's Friday, and he's set up. And it isn't until you have no choice because the hurricane is bearing down and they've canceled mass transit that you die-hard partiers, now you have no choice because half your family's not going to be able to make it.
No, I had asked him his opinion on what he would do in this situation prior to Friday, and he assured me that he's done many
He assured you
parties
there'd be no hurricane?
Well, no, but he did assure me that he would work with me if something were to happen and that he's had situations like this before and they've went through with the parties, and I trusted him as a businessman.
And so you let a guy you know who's a vendor decide for you whether you were going to have a party? That wasn't you making that decision?
No, I put my trust and faith in him and working as a businessman.
Really? Just your blind little trust and faith so you can't be held responsible for it?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, you want to tell me something? Because I'm not buying that from your wife right now.
I just listened. I expected
Judge,
that he was going to give us
I didn't stay married for 10 years, Judge, by disagreeing with my wife.
But we really do
Come on,
trust
don't be ridiculous. You're making a decision to have your
opinion.
party, and it turned out to be the wrong decision. Why does he have to eat it? Because what ends up happening is he's calling and he's letting you out before he sets up. He's letting you out. In fact, he has like 6 letters from other clients who he let out with no penalty. With you guys, though, because you decided to continue with the party instead of cancel it like other cautious people did, and I say that, but I might have been in your shoes too. The thing is, when I gamble, I'm willing to let go of my money. Okay? I'm a gambler. I would have said, let's go on with the party. It'll be great. We'll have a hurricane party. You know, it'll be fabulous. I'm a gambler, but when I gamble, I don't say, give me back my money, house. And that's what you did. Because then, when they call you and they say the party's not going to happen, now go pick up all your stuff that you've already set up, what happens?
So I come and pick everything up, but it costs...
When, on the Saturday?
On Saturday.
Yeah, because you don't want it to blow around in the hurricane.
Right, I don't want it to...
Because now we have an emergency.
So I had to find, call my workers who usually don't work on Saturday.
No, because they're boarding up their houses.
Well, that too.
Right.
But, we usually don't work on Saturdays. They get that day off a week.
Right.
And you know what? I paid them again, and they came and took it down with me. We did.
You want to take a second? I know your mouth is dry.
Yeah.
Okay. I can tell that about my litigants when they're like this. Okay.
So we had a discussion, and I started actually taking photos of the tent in the yard because I had gotten a call from a woman who was supposed to be doing the waiter and waitress service. Okay, and she said, you better be careful. I don't even think they have the money to pay for the party. So that's when I started taking the pictures. So then I offered to them, if you only pay labor, I'll reschedule everything. And then they were talking about October 1st.
So in other words, the quote penalty to them would only be whatever the labor
to pay my
cost
workers.
Was. And what would that be? Did you tell them a figure?
I believe I said between like $700 and $800.
Okay.
For 4 of us to be there, because it's literally like 10 hours of work between loading the truck, delivering it.
Now, according to you, he didn't give you a figure at that point in time. No. So what actually, according to you, is the discussion?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So the defendants walked into this eyes wide open. They knew there could be a hurricane. Do they have to pay for this tent?
Of course they do.
Huh?
Of course.
Because?
Because shouldn't have done it.
Well, the point being, is this an act of God?
Act of God, yeah. I think that it could be, yeah.
But they knew there could be a hurricane. They knew there could be a hurricane.
I don't know.
They took the risk.
Huh?
They took the risk.
They took the risk.
Yes.
They're responsible?
Liable. They should pay.
I'm buying what you're selling, going inside the courtroom.
What happened was when we had kept asking him Saturday, while he was taking down the tent, and then a few days prior, we had said, what would be the price? Originally, the figure was thrown out of $125, which was perfectly fine.
Wait, $125 for setting all of that up, taking it all down?
Within conversation. It was not guaranteed.
Nobody's paying $125. No, there's no way that this man said $120. You mean $125 an hour?
As far as I understood, he said that he was discussing with some ladies something around abouts of $125. I don't know if that meant $125
Were you ever gonna
an hour or a
accept
day.
as a penalty for setting up and taking down, basically, as your labor cost for your people, $125 total dollars for all of that work?
Absolutely not.
Why would anybody ever do? I know how much work there is involved in that. I've thrown parties. I know exactly. You know because you were present when all that happened. You think anybody would accept $125 for that? So So did he ever say 700 or 800?
I never heard the 700 or 800. I
did you
heard
hear?
closer to 1,000.
Okay. And so what'd you do?
I told my husband until we have a price and we work out an agreement with him, we should cancel the check because I'm afraid he wasn't willing to work with us at that point.
So you stopped payment on the 2 checks that you gave him for
Correct.
work he already did. So now you leave me in the position of deciding what's appropriate under these circumstances. Is it right for him to just get 700, 800, 1,000 for his labor, like he was willing to do that day? Or do I turn around and say, that was what he was willing to offer you when it was a negotiated settlement. Now that that didn't happen, and it happened a different way, all bets are off. He doesn't want to settle. He wants the entire benefit of the bargain because he, according to him, did everything that contract required except for minimal stuff, and he should get paid for it. And I'm supposed to look at him and say, no, there was a hurricane. Okay, here's the deal. What else besides the lights? What kind of lights are we talking about, by the way?
Globe lighting for the perimeter of the tent and LED lighting.
Okay. I'm going to reduce the amount of your recovery. I find that you are in the right. I think that you gave them an ample opportunity to cancel. You chose to gamble, and when you choose to gamble, it's your money that gets lost, not the house's money. I'm going to deduct a certain amount for the lights that you didn't itemize on your bill to them for the lights, did you?
It's probably on there.
Yeah, probably is. That's $233 for the lights, so I find in your favor in the amount of $2,029.47. Okay? Pay the man.
Well, the party man has won this case, and so here's the defendant stepping out here. Come on in here. What's your feeling on this? He gets almost everything.
That's okay. I'm just happy we got to move on and put it past us.
Well, if you had taken his deal just to pay for the labor to take the stuff down, you could have still had a party afterward. Should have taken what he offered you.
I'm completely okay with the case.
Yeah, and so did you finally have your big party?
It's going to be happening this weekend.
Oh, yeah? Big party? All invited? Got any space left?
Maybe. We'll see.
All right. Head right around the corner. All right. So come on in here. Party man, you happy?
Yes.
Well, with the money you got, party at your place this weekend, right?
True.
Also? How would you describe her as a client? Was it her? Was it him? Did he say anything?
He didn't want to have the party because of the hurricane. It was all her she wanted to have it. She actually told him to get out of the house when the party was over.
Oh, I wish I had known that while they were out here in the hallway. Darn. Over to Harvey.
The upshot of this thing, in effect, is the defendants waived the act of God provision. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.